Alright, in this video, we're going to go over how to create a neon effect in Photoshop. First thing, you could open up the file of this woman in Photoshop, or you could just go to pxhere.com, look up woman face, and it should pop up there. But what I did, I'm just copying it, and I'm creating a new file right now. Go to And right here, I'm just going to put my first name, my last initial, underscore, neon. I'm not going to change anything else on there. Maybe just the background to transparent if it's not transparent already. And then I'm going to hit create. The reason I'm not changing anything is because once you have something copied in Photoshop or something copied from a website and you're going to bring it into Photoshop, Photoshop already knows what the width and the height is. So I'm going to hit create. And then I either do edit, paste, or command V. In this case, I did command V, and I have my image there. You can see the difference between what it's going to look like, or this one, and then what it starts off with. The first thing I want to do is to actually create the shape. So as we're starting this, we do want to look at it the same way. So just go to Window, Workspace, Essentials, and if it's clicked on already, just hit Reset Essentials. To look at this column right here as two columns for our toolbar, I just click those two little arrows right there. So the shapes are right here. It's the second to last on the left column. And I could pick any shape that I want. I'm actually going to pick the polygonal tool. And I'm going to click and drag to create my shape. I could rotate it, at least with the polygon tool right here. And somewhere around there. Now the colors are not exactly what I want it to be. So up here at the top, I could change my fill color to none. And then my stroke color to white. And then the thickness is the next thing on the right. So I'm going to click and drag that. I want it to look like a neon tube. So I'm making this a little bit thicker, maybe somewhere around there. Right there. So now I have my two layers. I have my woman's face. I have the shape right here. And this shape right here is what I actually want to change up next. I want it to look like a neon sign, so I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard, which is the last key on the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to hold that down, and I'm going to click on the layer itself to see the blending options up here. When I click on that, there's two different things that I want to do to this. I want to do an inner shadow, and I want to do an outer glow. Now, you would think that just because it's neon, it would be an inner glow. It just doesn't work like that, so we're going to do an inner shadow. Now, just by clicking on inner shadow does not let you control it. When you click right here and it turns gray, then you can control it. You can see I've done this before, so you can see the different options that I've done. You can play around with this, but the one thing is the color. You want to set it to whichever color you want. This one, I'm going to do this light blue right here. The opacity, I'll leave at 80. The size, you can see if you make it bigger or smaller, what it does on the left. It gives you a preview of that. If for some reason you don't see the preview, you could click on preview. If for some reason you don't see it after that, just hit OK, and then you could go back and double click on that same effect on that layer, and it should give you a preview at that point. But that's the inner shadow. And don't change the distance. You could change the choke a little bit, but I wouldn't change it too much. You can see it makes it look like a double line. The contour, I like it on the second one. It does give a better look for it. Some people like the first one, but that's for that one. So that's inner shadow. The next thing is outer glow. Outer glow gives it like that atmosphere type of like, okay, it's actually interacting with the background. It's not just like, it's not just its own layer that doesn't interact with anything else. It has a glow to it. So my shape has that same glow. Now, I click on it right there. Color, I could change it right here. The size, be a little bit less. Everything else the same. Now, if you're putting it behind something, which I've done it in a few times, you do actually want to go up to the top on the blend options, and you want to click this layer mask hides effect. It's not going to change anything right now, but when you're doing something like the previous one I was doing, and I'll show you right now, I hit OK. If you're doing something like this one where it goes behind her hand and everything, you want it to be clean right there. So that effect will not be applied like that. I'll show you what it looks like in here. Since I have it clicked, you can see it's nice and clean, right? If I didn't have it clicked, notice how the color kind of bleeds in there. So a lot of times I like to have that clicked. All right, back to our original one. So we have this part, it looks okay. You could do this with text, you could do this with other parts, but it's in a very bright background. So what you might want to do is just click on the layer, click on the half and half cookie right here in the bottom, and click on levels. The levels are going to allow you to actually make it darker or brighter. To the right, it's going to make it darker. Now this is a very basic way of doing it. You could go in there and create other parts. You could use hue and saturation. You could do a color overlay. There's different things to make it look more realistic, like it's interacting with it. But for the most part, creating the shape, making it look like a neon sign with an outer glow, and then for the actual photo itself, going into levels and making it darker, I think that does pretty effective effect with only like 3 different layers. Thanks for watching.